How were you good about that, letting the noise go? Because there were some people that when they did things, you called them out on it. And you didn't like people lying. I know that.
Yeah, well, just every now and then you could call them out a little bit. I saw where Dabo had to call out Ole Miss for tampering.
Yes. He went scorched earth on it because that was like an 8-minute press conference.
I had to call out an Alabama coach.
You did.
He had a booster tell a recruit he could go get a good deal on a car there. And so I turned that one in. I don't think they ever did anything about it. So.
Another Dooley Noted podcast comes to you from the Coach's Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill in Celebration Point. Okay, welcome in to another Dooley Noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Coach Spurrier will be on in just a little bit. We'll talk to him about a lot of things. We got a lot of stuff to cover, obviously, after a great weekend. And then Robbie Andrew will be on for Yes, No Way, or Maybe. Coach O'Sullivan, Kevin O'Sullivan will be on Thursday's show. And then Monday, Coach will be out watching Scotty Coach, so he's not going to be here. And we're going to have Reese Davis on Monday. So, and then I'm working on the other Thursday guests. So, good guests as always. We appreciate all the people that are nice enough to come on board. Let us go ahead and get started with our Royal Blue starting five. It is brought to you by our good friend Randy Royal at Royal Blue Yacht Sales, the place to go to get a boat. And we appreciate what they've done for us for the last year and plus. And I mentioned this earlier. They're going to be off at the end of this month. And already somebody has come aboard to sponsor the starting five. We have to finalize some things. We'll let you know more about it going forward. But we're happy about that, excited. Every time we lose somebody else wants to step in and help. I appreciate it. I appreciate how many of you listen, how many of you take part in this and enter the contests and just like to listen to the show. All right, so let's get to our Royal Blue starting five. Number one was Saturday could have been really great. You know, I get there, I go to the game. I hadn't been to a game all year, but I usually go to one or two, and it was so loud. And when they make that rally, I'm thinking about some of those Mike White teams. Remember that one year? I think they were down 17 and 18 in two different games at home and won them both. And I remember my daughter coming up at halftime, "What's going on?" And I said, "It's got a lot of time to play." It was the same kind of feeling. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. First of all, Stephen Pearl, give him a lot of credit. That was a great game plan they had, and the game plan was basically we're going to sag on the bigs. We're going to pressure the perimeter guys, but as soon as they throw it in, we are going to double team, triple team them, and foul them. And again, if Florida makes, I don't want to say a reasonable amount because of where the score ended up, but if they make more threes, let's just put it that way, instead of missing 11, they might win the game. But they had a bad night at the free throw line, bad day shooting again, bad day or night. The game starts at 4 and ends at 6:15. Is it a night game or a day game? It's both. And Alex Condon scores 1 point and has 4 turnovers. They just collapsed on him and made life miserable for him. Look, Stephen Pearl knows this team. He knows Todd Golden. Vice versa. It worked for Florida last year when they beat him in the Final Four and at Auburn. This time it worked for Stephen Pearl. They know each other and they knew what to do. And, of course, Florida adjusted at halftime, came out, tied the game, had the lead for about a minute until they reviewed the goaltending call, which to me it was borderline. I don't know. I don't think Florida got many favorable whistles, but I always say you got to play around the referee, especially in basketball. Pat Adams was doing the game. That's all you need to know. You got to play around it, though. Got to play better than the officials are going to officiate. Came back from 18 down and had a chance to win the game, but obviously didn't play well there at the end. Keyshawn Hall in the first half, 22 points. You can't let a guy have 22, and they were just all him driving. I mean, they didn't have an offense. They really didn't. Their offense was, we're going to go one-on-one. Keyshawn Hall is going to go one-on-one with your guy, back him down, hit a fall away. That was the way they played the whole game. But it was a game plan that worked. So give them credit. Sometimes you just have to give a team credit for winning a game like that. It was a huge win for them. They needed it. I told people, like some people have said to me, I think Auburn wanted it more. I don't think Auburn wanted it more. I think they needed it more. There's a difference between those two things. I think they really needed to get that win. And I think he needed it to get people off his back. So anyway, that's what happened. It wasn't a great day. Could have been a great day because the crowd was electric. And it was pretty loud in there. Unfortunately, it was loud between timeouts too, which I think they could turn it down a little bit. Hey, stop making all that noise. Hey, what to think? I think when you're I was writing, doing the grades from there for patreon.com/Dooley Noted. And so, that noise gets to be a little much. Anyway, let's just move along. Now Florida's 16th in the net. They dropped a couple spots. It's not a catastrophe. It's not a terrible loss. You got South Carolina on Wednesday. That should, South Carolina's good enough to beat you, and it's a 9:00 game on a Wednesday night. Who knows what's going to happen there. But you need to get that win and then get ready to go play the Fighting Bediacos. Let's get to number 2 on our Royal Blue starting 5, and that is that college football, as we talked about last week, is pretty much not going to change. The stubbornness of the two conferences has come out, and the SEC wants one thing, the Big Ten wants another, and they're not going to agree. So ESPN said, hey, look, we got to know by Friday. They found out Friday. We're not going to change. We're not going to give in. So we're going to stay at 12. Okay. Now, if they went with the new rules that they just set, too, though, Duke would have gotten in because if you're a conference champ of the Power Four, you get in. And Notre Dame would have gotten in as a team that was in the top 12 of the rankings. That's now the new rule. So whatever. They change the rules every year. There's an amazing thing to me. This will be year 3 of the college football playoff, the 12-team college football playoff. And just let me throw this out here. This will be the third different set of rules we've had for them. For one thing, why couldn't you get it right the first time? You got smart people sitting in rooms talking, getting everything resolved, figuring things out, and it's just, I guess it's because everybody looks out for themselves. Nobody cares about football. They only care about their conference. Conferences only care about the teams in their conference. The teams only care about themselves. I guess that's the problem. But you would think smart people who have risen to the posts of ADs and commissioners and everything could sit down and get this right from the start. Right away. Right away, what happened? It was ripped. It was terrible. Second year, nope, not good still. We hate it. We're going to change it again. Get it right. I just don't get how you can continue to get it right. Wrong. And this will probably end up wrong as well. Let's go to number 3 on our Royal Blue starting 5, which is John Summerall. Of course, was at the game Saturday, gave a little talk, talked to the media. I'm sure the media appreciated that because he kind of gave them updates on some things. Nothing really overwhelming, just them taking all the dogs down to see Jaden Ball. And he said something that's really interesting to me and just clever, that he thought that was a first for him, having to go recruit a guy who is already on your team. But that's the world we live in, and it is the world we live in. College football is what it is, and no matter how much they try to push us away, we still keep coming back, but it's getting tougher and tougher. I will say that. I'm not giving up. I'm not gonna divorce you. Now, I will say this. It's pretty clear that John Summerall listened to all the things that Urban Meyer said about how he got it going at Florida. Now, don't forget, he wasn't trying to rescue a 4-8 team. He was trying to rescue a 7-win team under Ron Zook, who got fired about the same time of the year. And he had good players. He just needed to get them in shape, get them to do the things he did. But Summerall's taken a lot of those cues. He's going to have early workouts. He's going to have not let them wear logos, not let them wear the stuff, which is exactly the blueprint that Urban Meyer followed or started when he was here at Florida. And I remember the great story about it is that I wrote a column about it, and I wanted to talk to Urban. Urban was doing a speech down in, I think, Palm Beach somewhere. And Steve McLean said, hey, look, we'll get him on the phone with you. And I go, well, look, here's what the story's about. He won't let them wear Gator stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's a good story, and it'll be good for him. Never call me back. And you know my relationship with Urban's great now. But they never called me back. They wouldn't. He didn't want to talk about it. He wanted to keep it a secret. And the next day I told Robbie Andrew, I said, you need to go out there. Those guys are going to be working out wearing, like Voorhees Township shirts and stuff like that. And so Robbie did, talked to a bunch of the players about it, wrote a story, and Urban was so angry. I don't know why he thought that was going to be a secret, since you can watch him do it. But anyway, he told me, I said, are we okay? And I said, yeah. He goes, yeah, you and I are okay, but that other guy, I'm not talking to him ever again. I go, Robbie Andrew? You got to talk to Robbie Andrew. You're not going anywhere without talking to Robbie Andrew. All right, let's move along on our Royal Blue starting five, which is to the NFL. Crazy games yesterday. Obviously, the snow game, was wild, and Stidham was, that first drive, they got down a score, and you go, oh, my, I knew I should have picked them. And then Sean Payton not kicking the field goal, knowing the weather was coming. You go up 10-0, that may have been enough. That was a bad decision. The Patriots end up in their 12th Super Bowl, which at some point somebody's got to stop and say, maybe it wasn't Belichick, maybe it wasn't Brady. Maybe it was just a Robert Kraft knows how to put a good organization together. Look, I'm not a huge Robert Kraft fan, but you got to give him credit. I do admire people who get things done the right way and win a lot of games. Now, I was never a Patriots fan. I deflate gate, the rub and tug, all that stuff. A lot of people hate the Patriots, hate them, despise them because they win so much. But I admire what they're doing. Now, I will be rooting for the Seahawks, and that was certainly a good win for them. They are the favorites right now at 4.5 points. I am glad, though, that it's New England and not Denver, mainly because, backup quarterback and all that. It'll be an interesting game. Hawks versus the Pats. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure and that was the other thing. I did want to mention this. I wrote down the word analytics, and I'm like, what? Oh, yeah, I know I wrote that. Because the analytics will tell you to go for it there on the fourth down. But sometimes you just have to feel the game. And this is what used to drive me crazy about Napier and drives me crazy about all these analytic coaches. And Todd Golden's one of them. Now, Todd Golden has rolled the dice on a lot of things, and I go, what are you doing? And it's worked out. So, I don't know, maybe it's a matter of you still have to get lucky or you still have to get breaks. You still have to have guys miss free throws. You still have to have guys miss kicks. Anyway, I just think people rely way too much on analytics. Sometimes you just got to feel the game. Feel where it's going, feel where it's headed. Make the decision based on that, not based on some car, but that's what happens. Seattle, 4.5-point favorite in the early spreads. I think it's already gone down to 3.5. It'll be the quarterback who couldn't find a home, kept getting cut and traded, to the coach who got fired. It's the NFL, man. You stay with it, man. Plug away. You finally get in the right situation. Everybody gets hired in the NFL. If all you got to do is get an NFL job, and you're hired for life. So, head coaches get fired. They end up being offensive or defensive coordinator somewhere. They take care of their own because they know what the NFL's like. And they want to stay in the NFL because college, deal with all that. You don't want to deal with what's going on with college right now. All right, let's finally wrap it up on our Royal Blue starting five with our Olympic Sports Gator of the Weekend. This is brought to you by Steve and Christine Wendig at Boss Heart Realty. We do this every Monday. the Gator Olympic athlete of the weekend, and it is Riley McCusker, who the scores weren't real high in Auburn, but this was a pretty good score. It's okay. It's a 9.975. So I'm looking for the quarter of a point deduction here, but I don't see it. This was a very good, and this was at a point where obviously the meet was just getting going, and Florida struggled a little bit. They had to count a fall, but they ended up winning against Auburn, sparked by her 9.975. Arkansas, Friday, 7:15. I've got people coming over. Mary Howard, appreciate her helping me with tickets there. They're going to come over and see the meet, and that'll be a lot of fun. Florida, Arkansas, and Riley McCusker is our Olympic sports Gator of the weekend. All right, that'll do it for our Royal Blue starting five. Let us take a break. Come back with Coach Spurrier, who will come to us right here in this seat. We'll move the chairs around, get him over here, and then Robbie Andrew for Yes, No, Where. Maybe you are listening to or watching another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. Here are just a few reasons why doing business with the Royal Blue puts you at the helm of your boating lifestyle. 1, the longer we have your listing, the lower percentage commissions you will pay. 2, survey reimbursement for qualified buyers. 3, detail reimbursement for qualified sellers. 4, on-the-water delivery orientation availability. Call us today to schedule a consultation to see what Royal Blue can do to solve all of your boating needs. Call Randy at 850-974-1294.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured.
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
And our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
All right, it may be a new year, but it doesn't mean you have to back off any of your goals as far as losing weight. I know I've been working even harder on it, and of course I get an assist from BMI TeleMed. They help us out with our New Year's resolutions, even if I've already broken 2 of them. Not the food ones, though. Weight loss is your goal. Get with BMI TeleMed. They use GLP-1 medications, and they are individualized, and that's the great thing. I've been through this, and Charlie, just talking to him, it was so great to make him understand, and he understood what I was doing. It's not about just losing weight. It is about keeping it off. You know that. We're all excited about the new year, and we're going to lose weight, but when you lose it in the first month, then you got to keep going. BMI TeleMed is sensible. It's straightforward. It's affordable. No contracts or hidden costs. BMI TeleMed is donating $1 for every pound you lose to the Florida Victorious Foundation. So go Gators. Join the listeners on this podcast who've already lost over 600 pounds. Are you kidding me? I'm 60 of them right there. All right, contact BMI TeleMed today at 727-383-1677. Okay, welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging and coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios here at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And of course, Coach Spurrier's segments on a Meldon Monday are sponsored by Meldon Law. We appreciate them. They had a lot to do with that basketball game, too. They were on the floor doing the chomp and everything
Meldon Law.
At halftime, yeah.
Yeah, we had a good crowd there.
Oh,
golly,
great.
Saturday
I
afternoon,
thought it was incredibly loud.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, our student section is as loud as any in America. Maybe the loudest, who knows. But, yeah, we just didn't play our best. I tell you, we got off to a bad start, down, 15 at half. Came back and tied it up. And then after that, it was all pretty much Auburn. So give Auburn credit. They just played a little bit better than we did. And basketball is a sport the best team don't always win. The other team can shoot better than you.
I tell people that all the time, yeah.
You don't go 25-0 like Bobby Knight's team did.
Indiana,
way back.
They did that, yeah.
That means they were clearly better than everybody. But the NFL games yesterday were interesting. Yeah.
They were good.
The teams that lost easily could have won. But
do you like that snow? All that snow on the field?
Oh, that was.
Did you ever play in snow in
Yeah,
the
I
NFL?
played in a field covered with snow up in actually Minnesota. We woke up Sunday morning and it was really snowing and the field was covered and all of that. You ain't gonna believe this. I threw for 301 yards, but we got beat 10-7.
Oh,
we couldn't kick a field goal.
That's the same score as yesterday in the snow. It was 10-7.
13-10, I think. 13-10.
That's right, 13-10.
No, you're right. 10-7. 10-7 because they had a chance to kick a field goal and didn't do it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I was thinking 13-10.
I was out in the back cooking burgers on the grill, so I had my TV out there, so I could still keep track.
But the Seattle, it's interesting. The Seattle coach, I don't know where in the heck he came from.
I know where he came from.
He worked his way up somehow.
Do you know where he started?
Georgia or somewhere?
Georgia.
He went to Georgia.
Yeah.
I heard that, I think. Yeah.
But when he was at Georgia, he coached high school and when he was a student there. He wasn't like involved with the program or anything.
Yeah.
He coached in high school, and I didn't know that story till they told it during the game Saturday. But it was interesting. He's kind of come out of nowhere to be one of the great coaches.
These guys, it doesn't matter where you came from. I was reading the story on Chesney, the UCLA new coach.
Yep.
He started at some little place making $5,000 a year.
Yep.
And he was a coal miner and a bartender and worked his way up and, got an opportunity here, there, and the other. But, these guys are dedicated and family and football is pretty much their life. And you can go a long way with that attitude, and they've done it.
It is. I think I saw where Mike McDonald was saying he spent like 30 minutes with his son this season. That's it. That's it. Well, because family matters, but he's really working on trying to do better at that. So it is hard. It is hard. You get pulled in a lot of different directions. And you know what it was like when you were here at Florida, when you were at South Carolina. You get pulled in a lot of different directions. It's hard to kind of keep on that the right path. But I didn't have any skin in either one of the games, so I just was kind of watching. The second game was better than the first, but the first game I like snow games. So, but
it really takes away a lot of maybe the skill involved in the game when you have a snowstorm and
not only that,
so
but
forth.
It's wind. The wind the snow was going sideways. So
we're playing the Super Bowl indoors.
Yeah.
It's going to be Charlotte this year. So the Super Bowl is usually in a
southern
place.
In Santa Clara.
San Francisco.
Yeah, Santa Clara.
Hey, you're right. You're right. I don't know why I was thinking.
That's an outdoor stadium.
Yeah, Charlotte's outdoor anyway. It is San Francisco. My bad, because the Niners were hoping to go to that.
Yeah, they were.
But, the weather is always about the same in California there. So
you might have to wear a jacket.
Yeah,
that's about it.
You might wear. Yeah, it might
Speaking
be 50, degrees.
of the Niners, your former teamate passed away over the weekend, John Brody.
I tell you what, he lasted a lot longer than almost any of us would have thought. John Brody was 90. And, most of the guys his age played pro football 15 years, I think. 15 or 16 he played. It certainly didn't last that long. So, he was a good guy, fun guy. We played a lot of golf together. You know how times have changed.
Yep.
We played golf during the season back in those days. Friday afternoon, he was a member of a country club right up the road there in Redwood City. So I went up there with him one day. And then I met a bunch of buddies of his that I could beat those guys. I couldn't beat him. Yeah. So I started playing with his buddies instead of John, because he played with all the scratch handicappers. And he won a senior tour event. He won one year, so pretty neat. He was a heck of a player.
I think that's why a lot of people always question whether you might try to join the senior tour.
I wasn't that good.
I was
I never was that good.
Hey, that's a different. It's not that big of a difference, but there is a difference there. But Brody was a great player. I liked watching him play, and he kind of shot-putted the ball, didn't he? A little bit, he just
when he threw.
Yeah.
He could make all the throws.
Yeah, he had a strong arm.
Yeah, it was really a lot different game back in those days. I mean, we only had about 2 formations, and I remember one game we were playing Detroit, and they had a corner blitz. Guy hit him in the back of the head. And I'd be over there watching. And he'd come over and said, "Spur, where'd that come from?" I said, you ain't going to believe it, but the defensive back, Dick LeBeau, came off the corner. He was playing bump and run, snuck and come around. First time we'd ever seen that. So
wow, think about that. Now you see them all the time, and it's
all kind of stuff now.
It's pretty common. John Summerall made an appearance at the basketball game. I know you were there as well, and a lot of people were there. It was really cool to see everybody. But that was his halftime thing was okay, or the end of the third quarter was okay. But I mean, he talked to the media afterwards, and I thought there were some really interesting things that he had to say. Just about not. I think he's taken that from Urban. Don't let him wear the gear until they earned it. Urban did that in 2005. He did the same thing. He just said, "You don't wear anything with Florida on it."
He's a good coach. I said that before, and I started looking at his track record. He coached at Troy and at Tulane. You know how many games he won in 4 years?
4 years, I would go 39.
42. So he averages 10 wins a year, a little bit more, and that's pretty doggone good.
Yeah.
So here's what I figured out. If he just averaged 9 wins a year, in 8 years, he'll be the second winningest coach of all time here. Coach Graves is still number 2.
That's right.
I mean,
that was a big deal.
I'm not bragging. I'm not bragging about my 122 wins, but after that, nobody stays more than 4 years. I don't think. Urban was here 6 years and won 65, which was pretty doggone good. But
what did Ray win? 70?
70 in 10 years. Yeah, Coach Graves, and he held that record till I finished up here. But anyway,
I think if John Summerall can get
be the winningest.
over 70 wins, that's going to be good for Florida football because that means he's still here.
Oh, yeah.
He's making things happen. He's winning enough games. We just want to. At this point, you just want to go back to the days of Ron Zook, who succeeded you, who won 8 and 7 games.
And got fired.
And got fired. But I mean, that hasn't happened in a while around here.
Yeah, and we're playing more and more games, so the opportunity to win more are there. But I really like Coach Summerall's attitude. I mean, these guys, they're going to have 6 a.m. workouts. They're going to have all kind of stuff that maybe we haven't done in quite a while. So I think we'll have a tough team on the field. Gator fans will be proud of Coach Summerall's teams.
Well, it needs to be tougher. That's certainly one of the things that was lacking. And I talked about it a lot on the show. Fourth quarters were not good for Florida all year.
Yeah, somebody made a statement one time, the more you invest, the harder it is to surrender. If you've worked your tail off all summer and preseason and everything else, it's hard to just sort of sit back and, oh heck, we lost. I mean, losing's got to hurt, and the more you put into preparation-wise, it makes it even tougher. So I think that's the kind of teams we're going to have. So I can't wait to watch.
And Steve, you know that when you're getting ready for a season, you're doing all the off-season workouts. That's when you're going to make your team. Now, you can call all these great plays and everything, but if they're not going to get in shape during football season. They're going to get in shape coming to football season and coming to that first practice. And you've got to have they've got to be, like you said, the more you invest, the more you get out of it.
Yeah, no question about it. So our first game is Florida Atlantic, I think, and then we got another little school.
Campbell, yeah, the Camels. Campbell's.
What's their nickname? Soup? Camel
Camels.
Soup? Oh, the soups. Camel soups.
They should change that to this.
Yeah, we got two gimme games. After that, though, we got 10 that. Good teams.
Going to Auburn, too.
Going to Auburn.
Done in a long time.
Yeah, renew that rivalry. When I coached here, Auburn and Georgia were close to even in rivalry, and then we quit playing Auburn for some reason. And most people don't know, Auburn is the closest university to Gainesville, Florida. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that.
They're in the West, and we're in the East, and that's the closest one. So that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
We should be playing.
I miss going over there. I love going to that stadium. That stadium was a great place, and obviously you've had some good wins there and some tough losses too. That one were tough.
We were 10-3 against Auburn my years, and all 3 losses were 3 points. Oh. And all wins were 10 or more. How about that? We didn't win the close ones against those guys, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting. Anyway. One thing we have to get to is our Campus USA play of the weekend, and this is the one I chose. I had a lot of options. This is the one I chose because watching this game in the snow and watching this play, I got to be honest, I was rooting a little bit for the Patriots. I'm not a big Sean Payton fan. So I was rooting for them, and then when he made that run, and he did call it on himself. He said,
kept it.
He just kept. I'm just going to keep it. And boy, even his blockers go, what? Where are you going? But it worked. Sometimes you got to have the cojones to do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that cinched the game right there.
Yep, absolutely. It was a fun weekend, though, to watch those games. And, of course, we got a lot of basketball still to come. Gymnastics is back home this week. And I know you we're going to some of their meets as well. They didn't score a whole lot this week, but they still won, and that's what matters. They won the meet. So. And then we're getting ready for baseball and softball start. So this is a good time to be in Gainesville.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff going on.
Round ball, softball, baseball, getting ready to kick off, and so forth. But basketball is, what are we, mid-season right now? Getting somewhere right in there. So, and then spring football starts, well, it doesn't start for a while, I guess.
It starts March 3rd, I think it is, yeah.
But we got 6 new coaches in the SEC this year. How about that?
It's
6
crazy.
new ones.
And I'm the one who said there would be no coaching changes.
Yeah, but the transfer portal, that was interesting. They've already graded it.
Yep.
And Kiffin and LSU were graded number 1. And then it's almost the same guys, Texas Tech, and I think Indiana's still in there.
Yes, they've done really well.
Ohio State, Oregon, Ole Miss has a good portal year. But anyway.
You know, I was thinking about Kiffin and LSU and what he can sell people. And the bottom line is, he goes, look, you saw that team. You saw that Ole Miss team, and that was my team. And we would have probably won even more because that's how good a coach I am. And I'm going to get you the ball. And I'm going to do this. You know, that's the problem, I think, for Florida right now. Until they do something, you know, until they start winning games, it's harder to sell recruit. Now, I think he's doing a pretty good job of recruiting so far, just from what I'm reading, you know. But it's hard because, I mean, when you first walked in the door, Florida was still the big brand, even though they had not had great seasons. But it's not as great a brand right now in football.
Big brand. You think we were going out and recruit FSU in 1990? No. Well, we were under investigation, and we didn't have hardly anybody to go recruit in early January. But after we won the first year and second year, then we recruited as well or better than the in-state schools.
How many scholarships could you get the first year? Was that?
We had the normal amount.
Yeah. But people were saying, you know, you guys have been on probation.
They would spread all those rumors that the Gators have been cheating. You don't want to go there. They got all kind of problems. They're going to have players, suspended or all kind of stuff. So we just let the noise fall. We didn't pay attention to it. Let our plan do the talking, and we were ready to go. Because we had good players all over the place. And Shane Matthews was here. Nobody had ever heard of him, but they did after the first game.
How were you good about that, letting the noise go? Because there were some people that when they did things, you called them out on it, and you didn't like people lying. I know that. Yeah,
well, just every now and then you could call them out a little bit. I saw where Dabo had to call out Ole Miss for tampering.
Yes. He went scorched earth on him because that was like an 8-minute press conference.
I had to call out a Alabama coach.
You did.
He had a booster tell a recruit he could go get a good deal on a car there. And so I turned that one in. I don't think they ever did anything about it. So, but I mentioned
I think he ended up getting fired for other reasons.
He won an SEC, DeBose did.
Yeah.
They look back now, say, we're supposed to win those every year.
Then he went 3-8 the next year and got fired.
4, was it that bad?
Yeah,
I know it was that
3-8.
Yeah, he won an SEC. That's more than Lane Kiffin's done. He had won an SEC.
That's a good
point. In fact, Kirby Smart's still the only coach in the SEC that's won one.
Yep.
Still the only one. He won it again this year. So, people, how can you criticize a team that won the SEC with the competition we have now?
Oh, I know.
But they tried to say they didn't do this, that, and the other. But come on.
Did you call Dabo about that yet, or are you going to talk to him? Because you talk to him all the time.
No, I don't. Occasionally, I might call him up about something, and he'll always call back. But we don't. I don't really talk.
I thought he at some point somebody's got to put their foot down. and say, we can't let this happen. It's not supposed to happen. It's against the rules, but there are no rules. And that's why I think the fans, I know that everybody wanted to talk about how the fans
Somebody needs to speak out, don't they?
Yes.
Well, here in America, we allowed a bunch of guys dressed in Army gear with masks over their face go into these cities and kill a couple of people, and there's no accountability. No, you know the name of that guy shot the guy up in Minneapolis? I don't know.
No
He
idea.
shoot him, go over here, everything's okay. Unaccountable. All these guys are making those killings, and the Minnesota governors and all those people, they're trying to speak up, but it's a sad state of affairs when nobody even knows the name of these guys that are killing people.
I know.
That's
Well,
where
and the sadder thing is, not sadder, but certainly another sad thing is that we can't get, they're trying to lean on the government to solve all the problems in football. Well, they've got some things to worry about over there, you know. But yeah, I'm you know me, I'm with you on that. That's just crazy that this is going on. It's a really sad time in our country right now, but hopefully it's like everything. Got to rebound. You know, you got to rebound. You got to step up, and like you said, you got to call out Mike DeBose sometimes. You got to call out Pete Golding, who's only been a head coach for 4 weeks and now is already tampering.
Yep. When good people stay silent, evil will continue to dominate. I read that somewhere. So
That's
good
good.
people are speaking out. Okay.
I like it, Coach. All right. We'll be back with Coach. Next week you're going now, right? Or you think you're going? You don't know yet. You're going to find out.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be out of town next Monday.
I got Reese Davis to come in and replace you.
Oh, wonderful.
So he'll be great.
Okay.
But that's great. And then he'll be back the following Monday, and we'll do the show then.
Okay.
Until then, we have to take a break. This is another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studio. Adams Rib Company has been a staple of Gainesville for more than a decade and a staple of the Dooley house ever since Kelsey's teeth came in. The first time I walked into Adams, I told my daughter that the green beans are always a test of a great barbecue restaurant, and they were perfect. You know about the ribs that melt in your mouth, and my favorite, the turkey plate. But be sure to go in on Fridays for Nana's Fish Nuggets. They will melt in your mouth. Adams Rib Co., a Gainesville great.
Titan MRI, North Central Florida's premier independent diagnostic testing MRI facility. At Titan MRI, we're focused on you, the patient, having a great customer experience. Our MRI equipment is modern and 75% quieter than any unit in its class. And our MRI unit has one of the largest openings of any of the newer high-strength MRI units, which allows comfortable scanning for potential claustrophobic and larger patients. At Titan MRI, we look forward to serving you.
On April 7th, 2025, Gator Nation reached the mountaintop as Florida won the national championship in basketball. Now, relive every thrilling moment with Franz Beard's new book, The Golden Season, the unforgettable story behind Florida's historic 2025 title run. Feel the passion, the drama, and the glory all over again. Available now at Spurriers.com. Click the shop tab. That's Spurriers.com.
Okay, and welcome back to another duly noted podcast presented by Titan MRI and Imaging, coming to you from the Meldon Law Gator Studios. As always, on our Zoom link, we'd love to bring in Robbie Andrew on Mondays for Yes, No, Where, Maybe. Robbie, I'm a little bit worried because your wife and my wife went to brunch and then to a basketball game. So, I mean, I'm sure they didn't talk about us.
No, I'm sure they didn't, Pat. I mean, we never get invited, but that's okay. But they got your private room there, so
They did. They were in the podcast
some
room right here.
Yeah.
They were sitting right here, and Lisa Spurrier as well.
that was a good picture they sent out too.
Yeah, it was. And then, of course, they went to the game, and both of them said they had a great time, even though Florida lost, because they had great seats. They were, the crowd was so into it. It was so loud. It was the loudest I've ever heard it in there, I swear. I don't know. Maybe they were piping in noise.
Yeah, that's what Auburn accused in football, right? At the Swamp,
Yeah,
they were
that's right.
pumping in noise, so that would be appropriate.
Yep.
But yeah, they seem to have a good time. They seem to like the looks of the new football coach too, apparently.
That's what I heard, that Jill seemed to be very enthralled with his appearance. But
Yeah. She just said would. Okay.
Well, but I mean, it's hard for me to make a judge on that. He
Yeah.
looks like a guy is what he looks like.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let you.
Leave it at that.
All right. Let's get to Yes, No, Where, or Maybe. It's brought to you by Big Mill's Cheesesteaks, street dining done the right way. You can go in there and talk about what you heard on this podcast, and it's certainly been an interesting one so far. Well, I hope Robbie can hold up his end of it, and you get free fries with your order. All right, Robbie, number one on Yes, No, Where, or Maybe. You are rooting for your former quarterback in the Super Bowl.
Pat, I guess, since he didn't implode like I thought he would last night, I might as well just go ahead and root for the guy because, for one thing, Seattle's really good on defense. He's done a great job. And, I've never been a big fan of the Patriots. So, yeah, I'll pull for him, and I'll pull for the Seahawks just because, I just think they're the best team in football right now.
Yeah,
and Darnold is an amazing story.
It's a great
for him
story.
to come from where he's been to get to where he's at now.
First pick in the or third pick in the draft, but I think he was, but the first quarterback picked, and ended up going to 5 different teams, and Vikings said, we like J.J. McCarthy, and the Panthers said, we don't need him. Yeah, remember when he was seeing ghosts when he was with the Jets? Or
well, the problem was his offensive line sucked last year in the playoffs, and he never had time. And now his line is protecting him, and he's carving up defenses. So, a few years ago, he was considered the biggest bust in the NFL pretty much. And now, he could win a Super Bowl, which would be great.
A lot of people have to say, man, maybe you were right.
Yeah.
All right, by the way, he will be the first Southern Cal quarterback to play in the Super Bowl. How about that stat?
Well, that's an amazing stat. I wouldn't have thought that.
I saw this today, and I went, there's no way. And I started thinking, I go, no, never got there. All right, number 2 on Yes, No, Where, or Maybe with Robbie Andrew. Robbie, Scotty Scheffler is ruining golf for me.
No, I'd say no way on that, Pat. I mean, I think golf needs a dominant player. I mean, look, when there was Arnold Palmer, then Nicklaus, and then Tiger, I think golf is better when there's a dominant player out there that you look forward to watching every Saturday and Sunday on TV. So I've got no problem with him, being the dominant player. And maybe it'll ruin golf for some people. I find it highly entertaining watching him. He's so good at what he does. It's just amazing.
It's amazing. It is amazing. I mean, just how good he is. And think about if he hadn't have that sliced finger, if he didn't have the traffic stop where, luckily nobody shot him. But, who knows how much even better his career would be. But he already just tied a record. But he just.
Yeah, with me, Pat, it's like Tiger Woods. I always pulled for Tiger. I was a huge Tiger Woods fan. I always pulled for him. And now I'm kind of a huge Scotty Scheffler fan. I pull for him every time. I look forward to him being in tournaments and in contention. It makes it more exciting.
Well, and that's where it is right now with Scheffler. Is like if you look and you see he's leading, you're like, well, I know what's happening here. But if you look and you don't see him on the scoreboard, you go, well, this tournament's not that interesting. So it's like with Tiger, it's kind of that, you want to root for him, but you don't want to root for him too much. But anyway, I was kind of watching on the second TV, and it was really close. And next thing I looked up, and he had a 4-shot lead. So,
well, hey, Pat, he did you a favor. He hit in the water on 17 and had a double bogey. So there you go.
Well, you have to do that once in a while just to stay clean. All right. Finally, number 3 on Yes, No, Where, or Maybe with Robbie Andrew. Robbie, you love snow games.
I absolutely, Pat, yes, on that. And, I enjoyed watching that game the other day. But, as kids growing up in Florida, we never got to play in snow. So when there would be a TV game late in the year and it was snowing, we would love that. It was fun to watch, and you'd kind of live vicariously through them playing in the snow. So I thought it was great, and I love snow games.
I love them too. When it starts to flurries start to come, and you go, come on, come down hard, because it's just interesting to me. It's different, and it's. When it covered up the yard markers and all that, made it even better yesterday. Even the announcers said we're not sure where the ball is. I know. I think the first time I ever saw snow was covering a JU Western Kentucky game in like 70, 8 or 9 that would have been. I never saw snow
Yeah.
before that.
God, and your family's from upstate New York too.
Yep, but we only went up
Your
there in the
roots.
summer.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, that was me with Minnesota, and the only time I saw snow, I was like 3 or 4 years old, and like a dummy, I went outside, took my glove off, stuck my hand in the snow, and was like crying like crazy because it hurt so bad. I remember they took me in and put my hand next to the radiator to warm it up.
That's good. Let's go
Dummy.
from frostbite to giving him a burn on his hand. That's great stuff.
Been
Robbie.
one problem after another since then.
Well, I mean, nobody was there there was no WebMD then to say what you should do if you stick your hand in the snow.
Just dummy.
All right, Robbie. We'll see you later, man.
Okay, Pat. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you as always. See you. Okay, that's great to have Robbie on. We had a good time with him. Let's go ahead and move along to our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. It is brought to you by our good friends at Adams Rib Company, place to go to get ribs and anything else barbecue, green beans, Nana's nuggets, everything there is delicious. Our Gator of the weekend is, and he has been this before, Ben Shelton. Ben Shelton is playing, is it tomorrow or today? Because he's playing like tomorrow at like 5 or 6 in the morning. Today he played at 4:12 in the morning. But that's Australian time, obviously. But he has already made it all the way to the quarterfinals of the Australian Open. So great job by Ben Shelton. He beat the 12 seed. He's the 8 seed. Beat the 12 seed. Now he's got to play Yannick Sinner, though, who is very good in the number 2 seed in this tournament. And that's been kind of a guy. It's hard to get by, but a lot of people it's hard to get by. He's one of the 2 or 3 best players in the world. Anyway, but Ben Shelton is the one we're congratulating and saying, "Go Ben." We'll try to get up and watch some of it anyway. But Ben Shelton is our Adams Ribco Gator of the weekend. The offer still stands. I will take you to lunch, Ben. All you got to do is say, "Hey, let's go to lunch when I get back from Australia." All right, let's move along to our Leonardo's and Millhopper quick pick. And I told you guys that I was going to go ahead and make a pull on Monday because we had an extra one of these gift certificates, $25 at Leonardo's. You can go in there and get a dual sandwich. So we are going to make that draw right now. We got a lot of people that got in again. So let's go with numbers from 28 to 59 for Zach to pick. 28 through 59.
Let's do 55.
55. Oh, is Harold Hyman. Harold Hyman. I think Harold's won before. So I may have your address, Harold, but if I don't, just send it to me to patrickdooley54@gmail.com. That's our Leonardo's at Millhopper winner of a $25 gift certificate to Harold Hyman. And hey, look, let me give you Florida, South Carolina. You can't get the spreads till the day of the game, so I'm not going to give you a spread. Just Florida, South Carolina, at South Carolina, make a pick, and you can start to qualify again for another pool. We'll start doing them a little more quickly, too. We'll work on that. All right, let us get to our Hesser and Kipke. 3 things. Hesser and Kipke, with over 50 years of combined legal experience in North and Central Florida, Hesser and Kipke is your place for bankruptcy, workers' compensation, and family law. Call or text Ken and Jennifer at 352-339-9920, Hesser and Kipke. Okay, let's start with number 1 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, and that is that Charles Bediaco got played on Saturday. I watched a little bit of the game. He had 13 points. They lost to Tennessee. He is the poster 7-footer for what's wrong with college basketball right now. Everybody's mad about him playing. Everybody's mad about him, going from the G League to play. I don't know what we can do. I was thinking about this coming in. Is it maybe it's just time for the NCAA to say, hey, look, this is the rules we have. I may even do this for Patreon because I always do these 5 things. And one of the things I'm thinking about is 5 rules I'm just going to sue to change. I'm going to sue the NCAA and say, I want touchdowns to count for 8 points if you're down 8. And, I mean, some judge in Florida may say, okay, that's good. Yeah, we'll go ahead and let that go. It's crazy. I don't know. They're trying to push me out of all college sports, but I'm not going to. I promise you. All right. Let's get to number 2, Hesser and Kipke, 3 things. And that is that Jeremy Crouchaw might have been our player of the weekend, Gator of the weekend, but he made one little mistake. Now, he kicked unbelievable in that snow. All these kicks kept angling out. He was having, I mean, they were talking about him. And again, when you got a snow game, punter is very important. But on the last play, or the last kick, that when Denver was trying to tie the game up, couldn't find the line because everything was snowed in, so he didn't get all the way back. He was a yard short. The kick was blocked. Probably wouldn't have been blocked if he had been a yard further back. And it reminded me of Ron Zook again, because Ron Zook, who was big on special teams, wasn't there for the Peach Bowl, and they lined up 6 yards back instead of 7, got it blocked, ran back for a touchdown, end of the game, basically. So anyway, there's a Gator connection there, I guess. But I feel bad for Jeremy because he was really having an unbelievable game. And, but what are you going to do? I mean, you can't see. It's snowing. Finally, let's go to number 3 on our Hesser and Kipke 3 things, and that is what Coach talked about earlier with Dabo going after Pete Golding. And if you get a chance to watch the 8-minute press conference with no questions, and he details everything that happened. Clearly, they have all this evidence on cell phones, and there's a paper trail here, or cyber trail, I guess you would say. If the NCAA doesn't do anything about this, or the SEC, hey, Greg Sankey, step up and do something. Step up and say, hey, we don't allow that. You can't do that. We're going to penalize you. And don't reprimand him. Come on, man. Somebody needs to do something about that. When you're going to a kid who's already signed with another school, and you're going to him and encouraging him to get in the portal, and there is physical evidence of that happening, what are we doing? I think I'm going to ask that every weekend. All right, so that's our Hesser and Kipke 3 things. All right, let's move along to our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Weekend, brought to you by our good friends at Gallo Car Wash, the only place we go to get our cars washed, and we appreciate Gallo Car Wash. Our Sponge of the Weekend is obviously Scotty Scheffler, who's soaked it up again. I mean, it's fun to watch him play because he's so freaking good. But it's not, when he's playing, he's on, you know who's going to win, kind of like it was with Tiger and Nicklaus. Now, Tiger, and Nicklaus are the only 3 players to ever win 20 tournaments, and 4 of them being majors. Now, anytime he goes, here's the list, Tiger, Nicklaus, and me, that's a good list. But he is soaking it all up. And again, first tournament, first win. It was fun to watch him play, I will say that, because he's so good. So was Tiger, and so was Jack. Jack wasn't on TV as much, of course. All right, that's our Gallo Car Wash Sponge of the Weekend. Let's get to our BMI TeleMed Overachiever of the Weekend, brought to you by our good friends at BMI TeleMed, the place to go for weight loss specialists. Achieve and maintain at 727-383-1677, and you get a discount if you get involved with BMI TeleMed. We appreciate them. Our Overachiever of the Weekend is a guy, you probably watched him play in the national championship game, Muhammad Torre, who has been approved to get his 8th year of college football. How do you get 8 years? Well, you have 2, a regular redshirt year, a COVID year. I think he's the last of the COVID players, maybe. And then 2 years where you got a physical red shirt because you got hurt and didn't get to play. So he's going into his 8th year. He's their leading tackler. Probably will be their leading tackler again this year. 8 years. That is overachieving. Now, I know guys who took 8 years to get out of school, but nobody was paying them NIL money. I can tell you that much. They were paying money to go to school. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm getting into a mood right now every time I get to one of these things. But let's go to our Mark Gaita presents the 12, brought to you by our good friend Mark Gaita at Pepin Realty. Place to go when you need to get things done to sell a house. Mark Gaita, we're going to give you the 12 today is going to be the 12 teams that have the best odds to win a national championship in football next year. Now, we gave you Mark Schlabach's 12, but these are the best, according to Vegas, the 12. Texas, number 1. I think there's a lot. Wasn't Texas number 1 to start the season this year? Was it? I thought it was Texas.
Either them or Ohio State.
Yeah, and so I'm just going with the SEC teams here, though. Georgia is plus 1,100. Third is LSU at plus 1,300. And again, that's because of the portal class. A&M fourth, Alabama fifth, Ole Miss sixth. So it's basically all the same teams that made the playoffs, plus one that probably could have made the playoffs in Texas, plus one that just got rid of their coach and brought in the hot young wife. Then you go to Oklahoma is 7th, Tennessee is 8th, Auburn 9th, and the Mighty Gators are 10th at 7,000 would be. So you bet 100 to get 7,000. Now, I don't think it's going to happen, but it's almost worth it, and that's where Vegas gets you. All these $100 bets that people put down. There's only one team going to win. Missouri plus 10,000 is number 11, and number 12 is South Carolina at plus 12. Actually, I think it's 100. No, it's 12,000. Yeah. You know who's not on that list? Vanderbilt. Wow. I was a little surprised at that. Vanderbilt, obviously they won't have Diego Pavia unless he gets a 14th year. But anyway. So that's our Mark Gaita presents the 12. We appreciate Mark. Let's get to our Learner Law Club Team of the Weekend, brought to you by our good friends at Learner Law, the place to go when you need to make a closing. They know what to do. They can give you all the info and get it done. The Learner Law Club Team of the Weekend. We're going to stick with our flag football team that got to the Southeast Finals last week. So we're going to stick with them this week. And we're getting to that time of year. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on with club teams, and we want to make sure we give them the credit they deserve. The hockey team also had a great weekend last weekend. So just all the club teams. We appreciate Learner Law for supporting them, and we appreciate Learner Law for doing the job they do. All right, we're going to wrap it up with our Swamp Games of the Week. Brought to you by our friends at the Swamp Restaurant. It's been hopping over there. I know that. Coach Summerall was over there the other day, and it's just they love 4 o'clock basketball games. I can tell you that. People come in before, people come in after. They had a lot of games to watch. Even with the loss, they still enjoyed it. So let's get to our games of the week. Starting with tonight. Tonight, Florida plays LSU in basketball. It probably won't go well. At LSU, 7 o'clock. And then they play Texas, and that's on ESPN. Texas Thursday on the Plus. Actually, I think that game is on the SEC network, the game tonight. Thursday they play Texas, and I think it's on the Plus on 7. Sometimes you have a hard time finding info on some of these games, but so that's for the women. They're probably not going to go well, either one of those games. Those are really good teams. Wednesday, Florida plays South Carolina. That game is at 9 o'clock on the SEC network. Also, earlier that night, Tennessee at Georgia. That'll be a good game to watch. 7 o'clock on the SEC network. Yeah, I'm all in on that. And also on Tuesday night, here are some good games. Nebraska at Michigan, 7 o'clock on the Peacock. Now, that is a game I want to watch. Am I willing to stream it? That's going to be a good question that I'll have to answer later because I have no idea whether I will or not. But it's Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, but you have to do the Peacock, and then you have to leave it on there. If you go away, it takes 5 minutes to get back, so I'm not going to do that. And then also that night, Kentucky at Vanderbilt at 9 o'clock on ESPN, where you don't have to stream it. So that'll be good. And don't forget the Australian Open is going on. It's going on ESPN all through the rest of the week. This is the last week of it, but you can watch it at 4 in the morning. You can watch highlights later on in the day. But it's going on. And, of course, we got golf coming up again this week. So a lot of stuff to watch. and a lot of stuff to go to the swamp and watch, and a lot of stuff to handle with all of our great sponsors. All right. I think we got it all done. So let's go ahead and get out of here. We'll be back with another show on Thursday. Coach O'Sullivan's going to join us. We really appreciate him agreeing to come on and talk about Gator baseball this year. Don't forget Monday, Reese Davis. We'll have a good time. Zach, as always, killing it here on the show, producing. I am Pat Dooley. I am deep, I am way back, and I am out of here.